Bonds hits one high. Hits it deep. It is out of here. 7:56. Bonds stands alone.
Now Booker with Tucker on him. Throws it up for 8. Shot blocked by Antetokounmpo. What a block from Giannis.
17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan open. Chicago with the lead.
Minute remaining. And they're putting Curry in the pick and roll, trying to get him on Irving. Irving and Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown.
We're sending it in, Jerome. That's for damn sure.
Yes. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Taproom Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Stacks on Stacks Lads, joined with my guy, Mr. Big Ballin' Ben Larson. How we doing tonight, Ben?
Good. Can't complain, man. It's it's Wednesday. Tuesday. We're getting closer to Friday.
Yeah,
I gotta bring that back every time.
Getting so close, you're skipping days, man.
I know. It's basically Wednesday. We're at almost 10 o'clock here on the West Coast, so
Almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, though. We are being brought to you by the Sharps app, SHARPZ. Make sure to download it, use it to track your bets, become a better. Sharps app, use promo code JORD517. It's free to download, free to use. Use it. Become a better. With that being said, obviously, it's Tuesday night. We had some NHL games today, a handful of college basketball games. We got a couple coming down to the end here. USF at St. Mary's, 56-54 with about 6 minutes to play. And probably the best matchup, well, not probably, the best matchup remaining tonight. But we do have some baseball news, and we have some rumors and et cetera, that I kind of wanted to touch on. And, we're getting closer to spring training. Spring training starts on Thursday. We have the Dodgers and the Padres kicking it off on ESPN for the first spring training game. We're going to start our MLB previews next week, so I'm looking forward to that. I've been digging into baseball every single night, really getting excited for the Major League Baseball season. But
we're going to be there in 3 weeks.
We sure are. And we talked a little bit about some things on Sunday regarding baseball, and then on Monday we get this golden nugget, which seems to always fucking happen after our shows. But Anthony Rendon was interviewed, and he was asked. Him and the Angels media have been going back and forth for a couple of years. And he said on Monday, baseball has never been a top priority for me. This is a job. I do this. This is a quote, by the way. This is a job. I do this to make a living. My faith, my family come before this job. So if those things come before it, I'm leaving. I saw I shouldn't say wild. I saw a lot of reactions to this. A lot of people basically saying like, how can this guy say this? Like, he's making millions of dollars. He's barely played, which is, fair point. But I have a little bit of a different take, Ben, which is a little unusual. And
you having a different take? No, never.
I'm refreshed that a professional athlete actually would come out and like say the truth, because we always want athletes to like speak the truth and speak what's on their mind, and a dude does it and everyone's like, oh, this guy needs to shut the fuck up. It's like, whether he's right or wrong, like the fact is he spoke his mind. Like, he said what's true. And I guarantee you there's a lot of professional athletes that don't love the sports that they play. They play them because they're good at it. You know what I mean? And we see this all the time when guys like Jordan Poole, for example, like, does he love basketball? I don't know. The guy got paid, and like all of a sudden, like, he's half the dude that he once was, right? So
non-existent. Yeah.
I know for a fact that like there are players that don't love the sports they play, and for him to like come out and say that, I think is refreshing. I think it's right message, wrong person. You know what I mean? Like, he has been hurt, which I think gives it a lot of bad optics. Like, if he wasn't hurt and he was still playing, I think it would be totally different. It'd be taken differently. But the fact that he's been hurt and he's made so much money and he's barely played, it has terrible optics. So everyone's like, dude, what the fuck is this guy saying? Like, he should just stop playing if that's the case, right?
Yeah, well, I think that's the biggest thing is that he's been hurt so much. I mean, he's been paid 75 million in missed games over this contract. And that is just absolutely ridiculous, especially when you're, on a team with Trout, with Ohtani, and they're spending so much money on your contract. Like, it doesn't surprise me that the Angels media and Angels fans don't like this guy.
Yeah.
Because and who knows if he really is hurt or to what extent he's hurt, but he's not putting the production that they paid him onto the field
Without a doubt.
And I think that's the difficult part for the fans and the whether you're a long-term fan or a new fan, you see what's happening and this just pisses you off. So I mean, I understand where they're coming from, and I also understand where Rendon's coming from. It's like, I think you're 100% right. We don't see players come out and actually say what's on their mind. And I don't think this is a bad reason for saying he doesn't have a top priority in baseball. Family should be top priority. I think the way that he delivered it was not great.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's got 2 little kids, a daughter, and let's see, his wife was pregnant in this picture. So he's got 2 kids, his wife and, maybe a third now, because this picture was from 2019 that they're referencing in this article. So I understand that.
Yeah.
And I think you do have to put family first in a lot of situations. So it's understandable. I understand why people are pissed off at him, but you're right. He's saying what's on his mind.
Yep. And this isn't the first time that he's like mentioned that like he doesn't love baseball. He said this multiple times over the course of his career. So like, for those that like follow the game and have followed Rendon, like, this didn't come as any surprise. Like, it's something he said before. I just think that given the back and forth between Angels media and him and then the injuries, I just think it was a bad, it obviously came off terrible.
75 million in injury money. What is it? 40.5 million per WAR.
Yeah, that's the one. 45
generated.
million per WAR, dude. That's bad.
Yeah. Was it like 45,000 in at bat? So 250,000 a game.
Yeah,
basically,
terrible.
That's rough. And he's only played in 200 out of 486 total games in LA. So over, one game on to every 1.4 off.
Oh, I mean, it's probably been one of the worst contracts in the history of Major League Baseball, if we're keeping it a buck.
2.4 off. My bad.
Also, another thing that happened on Monday in the Angels and with the media is Mike Trout, I felt, kind of took a little jab at Shohei by saying he was asked about getting traded. He said, I don't want to be traded. I want to win here. If I get traded, that's taking the easy way out. If I leave the Angels and go to another team, I'm taking the easy way out. Felt like it was kind of a little jab at Shohei, dude.
Oh yeah. Well, he's bitter. I don't think he should be bitter at Shohei. I think he should be bitter at his owner. Well, I guess they did.
They've tried to, they paid Rendon, and Rendon was a great player at one point. He just can't stay healthy, and then get Shohei, and he couldn't really stay healthy,
and
Trout hasn't been healthy.
They did offer the same amount, at least so we hear.
Yeah, I thought it was like, I don't know if he like purposely meant it as a jab, but it definitely came off like a little subtle stab there. Angels win total is at like 72.5, man. They probably won't be that good.
I mean, 72.5. I don't even know if they'll hit that.
Yeah, I mean that's a total. So I mean, if you
I'd
probably go under.
Yeah. No, that's definitely something we'll look at when we start going over the divisions. But just off the top of my head, not seeing who they're going to be bringing up and what changes they've made. To be honest, I don't remember too many big additions to that.
Well, they had a
lineup.
lot of good. They had a lot of good young talent last year.
Yeah.
Their biggest thing is like they just couldn't stay healthy. Like between Trout and Otani, and then Neto got hurt, and Ohapi got hurt. So
who was the other kid that they brought in? They traded for.
Mickey Moniak.
Moniak. Yeah.
I mean, so they got talent there. They really just could not stay healthy, man. Like at all. And I think
Detmers has to take a step up.
Yep. And Sandoval. But I mean, I think they got talent there, and like I think honestly, Ben, like this is one of those years where like they have zero expectations and they probably like exceed them because nobody has any fucking hope for them, and they're just kind of like there. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the Angels can do. I think if Trout can stay healthy and like those young guys take another step forward, I actually think the Angels can be somewhat decent, dude, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, and thinking about it too, like just a little bit more. I mean, you've got another person I really want to see step up is Joe Adele.
Oh my god, dude, that dude, we've been waiting for that guy to step up for fucking 7 years, Ben.
Oh, I know. He has brilliance in the minor leagues, but he just cannot put it together in the big leagues. So that's something that I really do.
Did they trade him?
No.
Are you sure?
I mean, no, but I don't believe so.
Let me see. Let's see here.
While you're looking that up, I mean, I to be honest, I think Seattle got worse.
Nah, Seattle's gonna be good.
I mean,
they have the best pitching staff in that division, hands down, dude.
They need to put it together. I don't think they got much worse, but I think they got worse.
And honestly, too, Ben, if they get a bounce back year from Ty France, like that helps them so significantly because he was so bad last year, and they were like counting on him to be a lot better. Oh no, they still have Joe Adele. He's on their depth chart. The Angels have the other guy, Nolan Schanuel, that came up at the end of the year. He's pretty nice. If they can get a bounce back year from Taylor Ward, Brandon Drury can stay healthy, Mike Trout, Luis Rengifo. I mean, they actually have a decent roster, dude. I don't hate it. Reed Detmers, Patrick Sandoval, Chase Silseth was good last year too.
Decent.
I honestly think they can surprise people. I like the Mariners too. I think the Mariners are a really good team. Logan Gilbert, Luis Castillo, and George Kirby is probably the best 1, 2, 3 in all of baseball as far as starters. Dodgers may on paper have a better 1, 2, 3, but those guys got to stay healthy.
Yeah,
because
and I think that's a big thing for Seattle starters as well.
Yeah, but they weren't hurt last year.
No, but
I mean, you could say that about anyone. They got to stay healthy. But the thing with the Dodgers is like they have guys that have shown they haven't been healthy recently. So it's like for them, it's more of a concern. Like they have to show you that they're healthy. With other teams like the Mariners, it's like they have to stay healthy, but those guys haven't shown that they've gotten hurt. Knock on wood.
There was just so much regression from Seattle last year.
Yeah, but a big part of it was Ty France because Ty France was an all-star in 2022, and last year he was not good, man.
There was a lot of regression throughout the whole team. I think Cal Raleigh had regression, Julio regression, JP Crawford had regression.
But Julio turned it on at the end of the year. He just had a terrible first half of the year.
Yeah.
And I like the addition. I like that they went out and got Jorge Polanco, switch hitting second baseman. I think that was a huge addition. JP Crawford was actually good last year. He's one of their better players.
The only one, yeah.
That's the guy that I think has to like continue that production. And then if they get a bounce back year from Ty France, I think that that's huge. Like, I think that will propel the Mariners. Now, as far as the Mariners are concerned, yes, their offense is definitely the biggest question mark. But as far as pitching goes, like, there's not a team in that division that has pitching as good as them. Not the Rangers, not the fucking Astros. I think that Mariners pitching staff is elite. Plus, you got Brandon Wu, right? And who was the other kid? Bryce
Miller.
Bryce Miller. Bro, Ben, they got a fucking solid pitching staff, bro. That's why I was saying. That's why I was saying at the beginning of the offseason. Like, if I was the Mariners, I would call the Orioles and be like, bro, I'll give you Logan Gilbert or George Kirby for a package around Colton Cowser and fucking Colby Mayo, because the Mariners need bats and the Orioles have a like plentiful amount of prospects in hitting with bats, and they need pitching, and especially now they need pitching with Bradish probably being hurt.
And Seattle comes back and gets Mitch Haniger, who was hurt
But he was a baller for
9/10 of the year.
Yeah,
no, absolutely. But he's been just injury after injury after injury last year with San Francisco.
Yeah, I mean I think they're banking on him probably playing half the season. They get half a season's worth of him. It's good, but I like the addition of Jorge Polanco. I thought that was a great trade. Thought that was.
And then they got Urias mid-year last year at the trade deadline, right?
I think they like signed him actually because they got the shitty Urias.
Well, yeah, but he's still he's a decent third baseman.
Yeah, and they've been in talks with Matt Chapman and his representatives. However, there was actually something today. Let me see what it says. I'll tell you. I was literally just reading it. Mariners general manager Justin Hollander met with reporters this afternoon. And he said about signing other players. He said, "You never know. I think this group of players that we have, our 40-man roster as is, we may add on the margins." So I don't think I think that shuts the door on Matt Chapman. Well, at least publicly. Remember, they traded Eugenio Suarez as well. They traded him to Arizona. I forget who they got back in that trade. But man, they got a nice.
Wow. Urias only played 52 games last year.
Yeah, he wasn't very good for the Brewers. Yeah. They also traded Jared Kelenic. They brought in Luke Raley. And they signed Mitch Garver. So I actually think the Mariners are going to be all right. I actually think they're going to win that division, to be honest.
I'll believe it when I see it. I don't disagree. I don't think that they can't do it, but they got to put it all together, and we haven't seen that. 2 years ago it was the end of the season where they got hot and made that playoff push. Last year, man, was a disaster.
But they still almost made the playoffs last year, if you don't recall.
Yeah.
They just missed it. They were in the hunt for the division. Actually, they had a chance to win the division at the end of the year.
Yeah, they were only a game out of the playoffs.
Yeah, so I mean, they're right there. And now that pitching staff's only getting a year older too, because those guys were all hella young last year. Because pitching takes you, like, if you have good pitching, you're always gonna be relevant, dude.
Did Bryce Wu? This is his first year starting, right?
Last year, yeah, he was a rookie. He went from AA to major leagues too, dude. He didn't even he skipped AAA. And they also have Emerson Hancock, former top 10 pick too, who he came up and made a couple starts too.
Is it Bryce Wu? Right?
Brian Wu.
Like, why can't I find his?
Cal Poly, baby. He's also from, I think he's from Fremont, right?
Mm-hmm. Oakland.
Yeah, he's from the East Bay.
Let's see. 18 games started with a 4-5 record last year.
Yeah, what was his ERA? Like 3 something?
7 inning pitched. 4.21.
Yeah. He was hella good and they tailed off at the end of the year because he like had never pitched that many innings, which you see with young guys. They usually, once they hit career innings, they start to tail off.
And he only pitched 87 innings.
In the majors.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
He still pitched down in Double-A.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, that's gonna be a good division, dude. Aside from the fucking A's, you could count them out.
Yeah, I mean, I still think the Angels are gonna struggle.
I don't think they're gonna be that bad, dude.
I think
Because
Angels
the
are-
Rangers are definitely gonna regress for sure. They're gonna regress.
Yeah. I think Houston's gonna regress. They're just getting a year older.
Yeah, I agree. I think
I don't
Houston
think
regresses a
Oakland
little
can be
bit.
any worse than last year.
I mean, their win total's like 62, Ben. It's pretty fucking low. Or 57.5 or something like
They
that.
only won 50 games last year, so 62 would be a great year for them.
Yeah. I mean, I keep telling myself the same thing. Like, dude, there's no way they could be as worse as last year, but you never know.
Yeah.
You never know, dude. They got a lot of young kids on that team. It's basically a lot of young talent.
I think they'll be better this year. Not drastically better, but I think they'll still be a little bit better.
I hope so. For my own mental.
Yeah.
I can't go through another 50-win season, dude. That was probably last year was probably the fewest amount of A's games I watched in my entire life.
Oh yeah.
I probably watched more Mariners games last year than I did A's games. I definitely watched more Twins games than I watched A's games last year.
I think I probably watched more games of every single team than I did the A's, because I don't think I watched a single A's game last year.
Nah, you definitely did when they played the Giants.
That's true. I think I was actually at that game. So,
Yeah, I also watched the A's Orioles series, both of them.
okay. There you go.
They had that one game where they scored like 23 runs combined. That was dope. And Mountcastle hit that like 400-yard bomb.
Couple rumors that just came out.
What?
Giants still in on Snell, even though the Yankees have a trade on the table. I think it's a dumb move for the Giants, but it's
I think if you can get Snell like on a 3-year deal though, dude, I think it's worth it, bro.
yeah, but that's that's the huge thing, is that we're going to have to outbid the Yankees on duration. And I think that's a that's a struggle.
Yeah. I mean, does it say what the Yankees offered? Do we know?
All I see is that there's an offer on the table.
Oh, it says the details aren't known,
Yeah.
but it seems unlikely it's of the short-term high AAV type.
Yeah, it's his projection is a 5-year, $175 million contract.
Because I think if you can get Snell on like a 3-year deal, I think it's fucking worth it. I think he wants like a 7-year deal, and for a pitcher at 30 years old, for me it's so risky, dude, because you're probably getting like 3, 4, maybe 5 years of like solid production, but then you're really probably fucking hurting those last 2 years of that contract, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I'd even do the 5 year. I think 5 would be the max. I think if you can get him to a 4 year deal, that's great. Because then you've got Ray, you got Webb, then Snell as your 1, 2. You've got Robbie Ray as your 3. You've got Hicks as your 4, and who's the kid? Williams.
Kyle.
Yeah,
Oh my God, what the fuck's his
Harrison.
Harrison.
Yeah, as your 5. I mean, I think that's a
I think
great
starting.
lineup.
I think starting Hicks is stupid, dude.
Yeah, you got Hicks as your 5. As
Cardinals already tried that shit and it didn't work.
yeah. I mean, I don't think it's a bad. I don't think it would be a bad move for the Giants to give a 4 or 5 year deal. I mean, to be honest, I think that's one of the only ways that you can stay competitive. You missed out on 2 of the biggest free agents this year. And you got to make a splash to be relevant in that division. And
well, I always say, man, pitching is the way to go in that division.
Yeah, and overpaying is something that you're going to have to do in free agency to get the top players. I would rather overpay him and lower the years, the duration of contract.
Yeah.
Then have a lower AAV.
Jordan Montgomery's still out there too, Ben.
Jordan Montgomery's still out there. Giants still have Alex Cobb. Again, not great, but can be a number 5. You've got Tristan Beck, who has been a young kid who looks pretty nice.
Yep.
You got Duvall in the back. You've got the Rogers brothers. You push either of those starters to be an inning eater. Yeah, I think that's a good way to, pitch in this division. I think, I mean, you got Soler, Yaz, Lee, maybe Conforto has a comeback year. Luciano is going to be, our starting shortstop. You've got Patrick Bailey as a catcher. You've got some bats there now.
Yep, we hope so.
It just has to come together.
Jung-Hoo Lee.
Yeah, I'm excited. I want to see this kid play.
Yeah, he's gonna be good.
Yeah,
he's gonna be good.
Another rumor came out that Phillies gave Yamamoto a $325 million contract before the Dodgers deal. And he turned it down. More money than the Dodgers.
How much did they offer?
325.
And when you took the Dodgers deal?
Yep.
That means he really just wanted to play with Shohei.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't shock me.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Let's see. We had Liam Hendricks sign. We had who else just signed today that you were telling me?
Who?
Oh, Rosario for nothing. 1.5 million.
Oh yeah, he signed with the Rays for 1.5. Yep. Fucking nothing.
Yep.
The Rays are gonna be an interesting team because they got fucking so many injuries in their starting rotation, Ben.
Yeah. Well, and then this whole Wander issue.
Yep.
Which still hasn't been resolved.
It's fucking crazy, man.
I think that's the craziest part. It's just that we still don't have an answer to that, and it's been almost a full year now.
Yeah. Fucking wild. Wild.
Yep.
Got any best bets for tomorrow?
No, just because we have hockey and it's so dependent on starting goaltenders. I mean, let's see. I'd probably go Flyers -1.5. The Blackhawks are on my auto fade.
Yeah, they're at that point.
Yeah, I mean they're the worst team in the league, and I mean they have a worse record than the Sharks. It's they're probably going to get the first overall pick again this year, which is going to be a shit show.
Damn.
Yep, they're not good. I mean, unless we see a big push here at the end. I mean, you are getting oh my god, what's the young kid's name? Bedard back. He was out for a couple weeks with a broken jaw, so that could boost their play a little bit, but they're pretty bad. I'd probably go. Let's see. Anybody on a back-to-back? Probably go the over in the Bruins Oilers game. It's probably going to be a shit fest, but again, we got to see which goaltenders are in. Both starting and backup goaltenders on both teams are strong, but they both score a lot of goals. So
yeah,
probably go under in Blue Jackets Ducks. Both teams suck balls. But again, gotta see who the starting goalie is before we can make our decision, because there's so many teams that play back-to-backs, start their backup goalie who is not the same quality as their starter.
Yeah.
Or they're in the first part of a back-to-back. And
I like 2 bets so far tomorrow.
okay.
Maybe, and then I'm been looking at another one. So I like Miami +5.5 at home against Duke. I just think that number is too much. Home crowd's going to be into it. I think Miami covers that one. I think they come within the number. They might even win outright, to be honest. Okay. Miami does pretty well at home against Duke. I like Colorado State +6 at New Mexico. New Mexico is one of the best home teams in the country. They have lost at home, though. They lost to Boise State at home. And Mountain West teams right now, Ben, like tonight, for example, Utah State it was like -3 against San Diego State. They win by 5. They cover. Saturday, Colorado State against Utah State was -5.5. Colorado State blew them out of the fucking water. San Diego State on Friday, -6 against New Mexico. They fucking blow them out of the water. This number just seems overinflated to me, and it seems like it's like so easy. Like if you just take the home Mountain West favorite, they're going to cover outright. I just think this is too many points, dude. I think Colorado State's a really good team. Colorado State did beat New Mexico at home earlier in the season, so I know there's a revenge factor there. I know the Pit is a tough place to play. I just think Colorado State comes within the number, man, and like they could really use. I think it's going to be competitive. I think it's going to be a low scoring. I think it's going to come within 2 possessions. So I like Colorado State +6. There was a 6 earlier. They're basically all going down to like 5, 5.5. So if there's a 6, get it. If it goes under 6, I wouldn't play it though. And then George Mason +2 against Dayton. They're at home against Dayton. George Mason, a really good home team. They're also one of the best defensive teams in the country. Dayton's been really good over the course of the year. They're a top 25 team for a reason. I just think this is gonna be. I think it's gonna be a close game. I think at home, George Mason's gonna give them a fight, and it's gonna be a nationally televised game, which obviously they don't see very often in Fairfax. Tony Skinn doing a hella good job as a head coach here, so I like George Mason to cover this number, the 2.5. I think honestly they have a chance to win that game outright as well. Upset Dayton at home. So those are the 3 games that I like for tomorrow.
I got one more to look at. This is again very dependent on starting goalie. You've got Ingram for Arizona, who is day to day. Both of the backups for the Coyotes, Vizmelka and Villalta, are not good whatsoever. Vizmelka 6 and
Do you think they're gonna play
16?
tomorrow?
Yeah, Toronto and Arizona.
You think the backups are going to play tomorrow?
I do. You've got Connor Ingram is day to day, so that's something that you gotta look for is if Connor Ingram gets a start or not. Ingram is the much better goalie, but also might be a little bit slow. So I think if Connor Ingram plays, then you take Toronto -0.5 in the first period. If Vizmelka or Villalta play, I think you take Toronto -1.5 full game.
Interesting. All right.
So definitely keep an eye out on the starting goaltenders for that. Super easy. Search NHL starting goalies. Each day there's a list of all the games, and when a goalie is confirmed, likely, or proposed, it's listed there. Keep going back throughout the day, and you can check and see who's actually getting the start.
Damn, that George Mason game's already moving to twos, man.
Damn. Look at that. Fucking almost done with the podcast, and there goes my video. Oh, yeah.
Are we coming back on? No, there. Oh, shit.
Hey, there we
He's
go.
back.
Fucking Zoom.
Yeah, we got a little nice slate of college hoops tomorrow, man. I've seen a lot of people that I respect on UTSA as well against USF. USF's like one of the hottest teams in college basketball right now. So a lot of people obviously buy low, sell high spot on South Florida UTSA. So UTSA did upset Tulane earlier in the year at home. So it is a good spot, but they opened 7 and it's down to 5.5. I think if you didn't get that 7, I think it's just probably stay away at this point or maybe play it live. I couldn't get there on the 5.5. What other games do we have in college basketball tomorrow? There's some good ones. We got St. John's, dude, back on it after I don't know if you saw, but Rick Pitino, head coach of St. John's Red Storm, Rick Pitino, Hall of Famer, legend, college basketball legend, not just college hoops, but basketball legend. Really called out his team publicly. Basically said it's the least amount of fun he's ever had coaching a team. He said they're unathletic.
Yep.
They can't guard without fouling. Said they did a shitty job building the roster, basically. So they're laying 10 on the road at Georgetown. Georgetown's been pretty fucking piss poor, but I don't know. It could be a good spot. Like maybe Patino lights a fire under that fucking St. John's team and get things going. But that could also, the way he said that shit publicly is also, to me, could like completely derail your season.
Yeah, I think he knows what he's doing, though. I think it lights the fire.
Probably. I bet everybody and their mom is going to be on St. John's tomorrow.
And it wouldn't be, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me that if it does light the fire and then everybody fucking bounces at the end of the year.
I mean, apparently he doesn't want him there, so probably doing him a favor.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, like when during the offseason, there was a few guys that I thought they were going to sign and they didn't end up doing it. And I don't know if it was the player not wanting to go there or what the thing was, but it kind of spoke volumes, especially like when Walter Clayton, who played for Rick Pitino at Iona last year, Walter Clayton went to Florida. He's a starting point guard there. When he didn't go to St. John's, I was like, it's fucking weird because Danis Jenkins went to St. John's. Danis Jenkins also played at Iona last year. So I was kind of took me back, and it kind of speaks volumes now at this point that, you know, Walter Clayton decided to go to Florida over playing for his coach at Iona for his new team in St. John's, which is literally in New York. So, you know, don't even got to move really.
Yeah.
So that was quite interesting. Although I might get there with St. John's tomorrow, Ben. I could be a good spot to back them. Lane 10's a lot, especially for a team that just blew an 18-point lead at home and ended up losing.
Yeah.
But, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, that's all I got for tonight. We'll be back.
Okay.
We won't be back on Sunday. We will be gone. I'll be out of town. I'll be flying. I'll actually be flying during when we usually have our show, or
yep,
around there. But we will be back next Tuesday, and that's when we start our Major League Baseball preview.
Yep. Looking forward to it.
So make sure to download the Sharps app, SHARPZ. Use promo code Jord517. It's free to download, free to use. Sharps app. Track your bets. Become a better. Follow the podcast on the Twitter machine, X, at taproom_sports. Follow myself at Jordan Rules TSP. You can follow us on Instagram at Taproom Sports Podcast. Thank you for hanging out with us. We will be back next week. Everybody have a blessed weekend. Let's go.